Hello, and welcome to the Gamer's Closet. I'm your host, Douglas Weed, and today we're going to be talking about Battlestar Galactica. Battlestar Galactica is a board game manufactured by Parker Brothers Incorporated in 1978. The game seats 2 to 4 players, runs for about a half an hour of game time, and is rated for ages 7 and up. But let's dig into it a little further, shall we?
There are those who believe that life here began out there, far across the universe, with tribes of humans who may have been the forefathers of the Egyptians, or the Toltecs, or the Mayans. Some believe that there may yet be brothers of man who even now fight to survive somewhere beyond the heavens.
Battlestar Galactica is an American science fiction television series created by Glenn A. Larson that began the Battlestar Galactica franchise. Starring Lauren Green, Richard Hatch, and Dirk Benedict, it follows the surviving humans as they flee in the Battlestar Galactica and other ships in search of a new home while being pursued by the Cylons. The series ran from 1978 to 1979 for one season before being canceled. In 1980, a write-in campaign revived the show as Galactica 1980 with 10 episodes. Books have also been written continuing the story. Battlestar Galactica was remade in the early 2000s with a reimagined miniseries and weekly series. The board game was created in 1978 in the early part of the season during the initial success of that season. The game is a little bit different than the actual TV show, as it is a capture the flag system with multiple Viper fighters trying to capture a disabled Cylon ship versus actual space combat. The game does come with multiple pieces. It comes with a game board, 1 silver-colored Cylon Raider, 1 spinner, 4 Colonial Vipers, each of a different color, 4 plastic bases, 12 evasive action cards, and 36 command cards divided into 4 equal decks. To set up this game, use the picture here as an example. Place the Cylon Raider in the center of the board. Place each of the Viper fighters in their tabs and into their corresponding colored launch bays as pictured here. Take the command cards, shuffle them, and then put them in a stack in front of you. Take 3 of the evasive action cards and place them up on the table next to your command cards. Each player turns over 2 of their command cards. Each player then spins the spinner. The player who spins the highest number plays first. The order of play then proceeds to the first player's left clockwise. Start your turn by spinning the spinner and moving your Colonial Viper as close to the Cylon Raider as you can. To move, you may move your Viper horizontally and vertically, but not diagonally. You may change direction as many times as your spin will allow. You must change direction if you're about to collide with another Colonial Viper. On a single turn, you may not enter any square more than once. You may move across any of the yellow lines, which the yellow lines separate the four quadrants of the game board. Ordinarily, you must move your Viper the number of squares that you spin. There are, however, two exceptions to this rule, which I will be going over in a moment. The first of these exceptions are black holes. In outer space, black holes are areas of concentrated gravity. In this game, they are important strategic elements. When you land on a black hole, you may, if you wish, immediately move to any other black hole not already occupied by a Colonial Viper. You do not have to land on a black hole by exact count. You may stop moving as soon as you reach one. However, if you then move to another one, do not continue to move your Viper the full count of your spin. If you are on a black hole at the start of your turn, you may not move to another black hole. Spin the spinner and move your Viper accordingly. The other exception is capturing the Cylon Raider. You may capture the Cylon Raider in one of three ways: by landing on its square, by moving onto a black hole that it occupies by itself, or by winning an interstellar battle. To capture the Raider, slide your Viper into the top of the Raider, then spin immediately and move your Viper with the Raider. When capturing the Raider by landing on its square, you do not have to land on the Raider's square by exact count. You may stop moving as soon as you reach it. But you may not land on the Raider's square if another Colonial Viper is holding the Raider captive. If the Raider sits alone on a black hole, you may capture it by either landing on that black hole or by moving there from another black hole. The final way to capture it is by doing an interstellar battle. By landing directly next to the Raider square, horizontally, vertically, or diagonally, when the Raider is being held by an opponent, you challenge that opponent to an interstellar battle. Both you and your opponent spin the spinner. The highest spin wins. The winner either retains the Raider if they already have it, or without moving, captures it. The winner then A, immediately spins the spinner and moves both his Viper and the Raider, and B, moves the loser for minor repairs to any unoccupied purple planet. To have an interstellar battle, you do not have to land next to the captured Raider by exact count. You may stop moving as soon as you're directly next to the opponent who has the captured Raider. After moving your Viper, you may play one or both of your upturned command cards. There are three types of command cards: turbo thrust, force fields, and laser torpedoes. The first of these is the turbo thrust pictured on the bottom. You can play this card anytime you want to spin again. The second of these cards is the force field card pictured here in the middle. By playing this card, you may move an opponent to an unoccupied purple planet. If the opponent you choose to move is holding the Raider, you may move only the opponent. The Raider stays where it is. The third and final is the laser torpedo pictured here on the top. By playing this card, you may be able to blast one or more opponents back to the Battlestar Galactica for major repairs. First, spin the spinner to determine the number of blasts you may take. Then spin once for each blast that you're allowed. Each time the spinner points to a quadrant that's occupied by an opponent, that opponent is blasted back to their squadron's launch bay. If the spinner points to the yellow line, spin again. If an opponent's Viper lies on a yellow line and the spinner points to a quadrant on either side of that line, the opponent is blasted. If the spinner points to a quadrant that's affected more than one opponent, each of those opponents is blasted. If a blasted opponent is holding the Cylon Raider, the Raider stays where it is. You cannot be blasted by your own laser torpedoes. After using a command card, you must remove it from the game immediately. You must also wait until the start of your next turn to replace the card that you used with the top card of your reserve pile. You may at any time use evasive action cards as protection against a force field card or laser torpedo cards. When you use one against a force field card, you cannot be moved. When you use one against a laser torpedo card, you cannot be blasted. You may not use an evasive action card as protection in an interstellar battle. After using an evasive action card, you must remove it from the game immediately. These cards cannot be replaced. If, for example, you're blasted more than once with laser torpedoes, you must use a different evasive action card each time that you wish to protect yourself. Once you've used all three of your evasive action cards, you're left with no further protection. The winner of the game is the first player to capture the Cylon Raider and bring it back successfully to their squadron's launch bay in the Battlestar Galactica. Well, this has been an overview of Battlestar Galactica. Battlestar Galactica is what I would classify as a basic introductory strategy game. I classify it as a strategy game because you have the black hole elements that you can work with. But the problem with this game is the game is a little on the random side for the spinner aspect of when you're actually shooting your laser torpedoes off at people. It is a great game for kids to learn on if you want to get your kids involved into board gaming, but as a competitive game, it is not. Um, like I said, it is pretty much capture the flag with Battlestar Galactica theming to it, but other than that, it's a pretty basic game. It goes online anywhere from about 10 to 20 bucks, so it is relatively easy to find. Sometimes sealed copies of this game are a little pricey. They can go for about $100 for a sealed copy because it is from 1978. But like I said, it is a basic game. It is very easy to pick up. It's very easy to learn. It's very kid friendly. So with that in mind, it is a decent game. If you can pick it up cheap, I'd recommend it, but I wouldn't go out of my way to find this game unless it were a kind of a family favorite or there was some nostalgia behind it. But as the game goes by itself, it is a decent game, but there are way better games on the marketplace today. So if you have a chance to pick it up, go for it. If you don't have relative access to it, I wouldn't go out of my way to find it. So I would recommend playing it, but that's probably about it. I wouldn't recommend adding it to your collection unless you are a real die-hard Battlestar Galactica enthusiast. Well, that's it from us here at the Gamers Closet. We'd like to thank you for checking out our video on Battlestar Galactica from Parker Brothers Incorporated. If there's a game in the future you would like us to review or go over, please put it in the comments below. Please hit subscribe so that way you can be the first to check out our future content. And as always, please have a great gaming day.